Welcome into the DNVR Avalanche Podcast. It is Wednesday, getting into late July at least. We're almost to the August part of July-August. We got AJ, we got Biggie, we got Rudo coming to you live. Today we're talking, well, I guess improvements or possibly declines or maybe steady. I don't know. It depends on who we get into, what we talk about exactly. We'll see how it goes. I wanted to start this conversation off with, obviously, with everything this offseason, Avs aren't done. We expect a couple more moves in their bottom six. Who knows? Maybe there's some bigger things in store. We don't know. So take everything with a grain of salt. But as currently constructed, the Avs would be the second oldest team in the NHL. Now, that is still age 29, so it's not like it was 25, 30 years ago where teams were like 35 freaking years old. But the Avs are on the opposite side of the spectrum as they were 6-7 years ago. I know no one on this podcast thinks the Avs are too old. I think all of us believe the Avs window is at least a few more years left, if not more than that, with the primes of Nathan MacKinnon, Cale Makar, etc. But do we think that this team could be on its back nine?
Why do we call it a window?
I don't know, dude.
Like you don't go through windows. Oh, the window is open. You primarily look out of a window. You use it to look through it, right? Not actually going somewhere. Like if you're going in and out of a window, it's usually an emergency or you're breaking in somewhere. Why do we call these windows?
If you're a burglar, if you're trying to steal the Stanley Cup, I guess.
Yeah, okay. Wouldn't it be a door? You open the door is open, you walk on through. All right. Semantic debate aside, no, I'm not that worried about them being too old this year. You absolutely have to worry about them getting too old pretty much any time after that. I mean, yeah, MacKinnon and Makar are still, in the good age range. Like Nichushkin's still there, but Landeskog, after missing 3 years, he's now, he's what, 32 now. Brent Burns is ancient. Josh Manson already getting up there in his mid-30s. There's a lot of age there. Even like Mackenzie Blackwood. Yeah, they just signed him, and all right, he's going to be the guy in Colorado for a number of years. He's like 28. Like, their young guys are old. Sam Malinsky.
Goalies don't even count, but sure.
Sam Malinsky has one full season in the NHL. He's going to be in free agency next year. He's already 27. Like, they're old. They're old, man. Obviously, they're old. It's a concern because there isn't much for you to build on moving forward. You're not looking at it and saying, "Oh, well, when this guy's, last year they opened the season with Cal Ritchie on the roster. It was like, oh man, this is a guy that they want to actually build around. This is going to be one of their dudes." And then he was awful, and then he was gone. And now I'm just worried that the Avs are going to be like, never again. We're not trusting another young kid ever again. Nathan MacKinnon will just bully them, and C-Mac will trade them.
Yeah, that's the writer in you when you're talking about windows and doors, but I agree with you. I mean, this guy's going to go right through the window. We never say that, right? But the window is open, but it's closing for sure. And they're older for one reason. You just said it, because of some, over the years, they've used them as pawns. The younger guys. And we all know that, Nabokov is not over yet. Probably at the end of the year, Gulyev hasn't come over. Guys that you're talking about, bigger better prospects. Richie was the one guy, and then he ended up, going in the blender with the Nelson trade. So that's why their age is a little bit higher. You're going to add a few guys here. I do believe that the age will come down a little bit, but they're definitely not old. But they're not an up and coming team anymore, like they were a few years back. I think it's just father time, right? We all get older. The Avs are getting older, just like anybody else. And at the end of the day, they haven't really had those prospects that were able to crack the lineup because they've been used, in a sense, in trades, whether it was a pick or a pick itself or a Richie that was a pick. You know what I mean? So I'm giving an example. So it's kind of where it lies. That's why it's gone up a little bit in age, but they're still in the great window. Especially when your older guys are in great shape. I'm not worried about that, but the window is definitely open for a couple more years. Absolutely.
Yeah, I feel like you can cling to hope for the youth a little bit with Nabokov and Gulyayev still coming over. I know those guys aren't going to be 18-year-olds or anything crazy like Richie, but when your average age is 29, you add some 22, 23-year-olds to the mix, that is going to bring you down quite a bit. But it does get pretty tough after that. Obviously, the Avs have no first-round pick again next year. No pick in the top 100, really, next year. I'm not saying there aren't other guys in the system. Maybe Barons figures it out. Maybe the Taylor McCarr miracle just continues to keep happening. But
Brindley.
Yeah, sure. Gavin Brindley's another option. But it's not an organization that you're expecting to be even in the younger half of the league for the foreseeable future, even if they do bring that age down a little bit. So it's
look,
just where they're at.
Yeah. Their top draft pick this year was 20 years old already.
They do love doing that.
We're not gonna see that guy for 3 or 4 years. So yeah, there's very little like true youth on the way here. And you mentioned Nabokov, he's already 22. So
would make you younger, but not like these outrageous 18-year-olds younger type of thing. There's a couple of other conversations here. One in chat, A Wolf asking, isn't Bednar stubborn with letting prospects play too? Yes and no. Like, there are prospects that he likes. Obviously, the talent of Cale Makar's level, he dropped in the middle of a playoff series, had no problem with that. Sure, not everyone's Cale Makar. Take Logan O'Connor. If you play the game the right way, if you talk about what we talked about on yesterday's show, if you as a rookie can come in and have defensive acumen, Bednar will find a place for you. But yes, at times Bednar struggles with some of the spottiness of an NHL rookie, right? He's gone on record, and every coach in the NHL would go on record saying the same thing of he wants consistent play, night in, night out, and that's really hard to do as a rookie.
Well, and you look at the younger guys who have stuck under Jared Bednar, and most of them, outside of the mutants, outside of Makar and Mikko, I guess Bowen Byram, that was a weird one with all the injuries and everything else. Like his path was so strange. But even Logan O'Connor, that's an older guy. He was like 24 when he finally actually like broke in and was like, okay, I'm good now. He was much older. Oh man, sorry. Unfortunately, I have to bow out of this one for a minute. I have to take a super important phone call. It's coming up.
Do what you got to do.
I was gonna say, I see this Sampo Ranta. True, that's another one. I see this Kovalenko in the playoffs 2 years ago.
Yeah,
right.
True. And it's
so
Kovalenko was playing here up until he got traded. Like,
and I agree with A Wolf. Like, you know what I mean. Sometimes from the outside, it looks like the coach is being stubborn. Here's what I'll say, because I know from the outside, and even trust me as a player, sometimes you have negative thoughts, and it's like, oh, this guy doesn't like me. He's purposely like trying to push me down, and then I've learned over the years after that, working in management, working in coaching, at the end of the day, there's no such thing as, and I'm not picking on AWOL because I love the interaction there all the time with AWOL. That's not what I'm doing. I'm saying, but it's hard to realize sometimes that the coach, everything's there for him to win, and if he doesn't win, he's fired. So if the person's good, it doesn't matter if the person is 6'7", 4'3", a righty, a lefty, a first round pick, a non-drafted. At the end of the day, if he's going to help you win, they'll play you. If you're ready, they'll play you. If you're ready, they'll play you. You know what I mean? And sometimes you're not ready. And Kovalenko 2 years ago in the play, not ready. You know what I mean? Not ready for all the reasons. Remember, he was supposed to come earlier, then he got hurt and all that kind of stuff. But sometimes you don't have time to wait. If you're the San Jose Sharks, or if you're anyone, like back then, we had Maddie, we had Ryan, we had, the kids were 18, they were playing 25 minutes a night. You know what I mean? Like, I get it. We weren't going to win the cup. But when you're trying to win the cup, the window is short. Like, you don't have time to experiment. Is this guy really ready? So when he comes up, and if he doesn't perform, like, you don't have time to wait for him, and that's why the American League's there. And that's my point I have to make on this,
I get that to a certain extent. I obviously, an NHL head coach is trying to win every night, but I do think there is a point at which, especially when you're the Colorado Avalanche, when you're a team that's good enough on the top end that your best players are going to win you a bunch of games anyway. Like, we're not all that worried about the Avs making the playoffs because they have Nathan McKinnon and Cale Makar, and that's enough to get you into a wild card spot or whatever you feel like. There are situations where playing a guy in December is going to make him ready to go in March. And I do think the Avs struggle in that category at times. Sometimes they aren't patient enough and willing to let younger players work through some of their issues at the NHL level.
No, I don't disagree with you. But I think that if you're ready, you'll show you're ready. And sometimes you don't have time to wait. You don't have time to wait. Every point's so important. Sometimes you feel you lose 2 points and you're like, oh my God, they won't make the playoffs because of those 2 points, and it's February. And you're like, oh my God, we overthink things, So I don't know. I do think that, I don't know. I just feel that it's such a fine line, you know what I mean, to be able to just say, I'll live with it. Like we did with Ryan and Maddie, right? When they were 18, we'll just live with it, right?
When you're bad, it's easy, but
yeah, that's my point. Where so it's hard to blame Jared, but it's also, I understand there's a certain standard too. You know what I mean? And you expect Kale and Mac and Gabe and everyone to adhere to those standards, and then you got a young kid that comes in and sometimes it takes you a while. And again, that's why I love the American Hockey League. I love it. I do. I think everybody should go spend time down there. It is, Logan, it's crucial for your development, unless you're a first round pick. And unfortunately, we all know with this NHL, we need sometimes those younger guys because of the salary cap, and need those lower salaries. And sometimes you rush guys, and sometimes you burn them, and they end up having a shorter career because of it. So I don't know. I'm not saying AWolf has a bad point. I'm not arguing that. I'm saying that goes for any coach. You know what I mean? But any coach that's in the window, we talked about windows earlier with AJ, but any coach that's in the window of winning, it's a different argument than, Warsofsky and San Jose.
Yeah, for sure. Two completely different situations that organizations are in. Look no further than our chat. And I think it's fair to say,
yeah,
expectations are that this core of the Avalanche should win another cup. Look, I'm on team they won one cup. It's going to be considered a successful era, full stop, if you win a Stanley Cup. But yeah, I think a lot of people, myself included, would be a little bit disappointed, certainly in the short term, if they aren't able to do it again, especially in this era that we've seen in the past decade. What is it? 3 repeat champions,
Yep.
Tampa Bay, Florida, and Pittsburgh. So yeah, there would definitely be a little bit of, I'll put it this way. I think everyone believes this team is good enough to win another Stanley Cup. Put it that way.
100%.
So that's how we feel about it. We do need to take our first break of the show, and then we'll dive into our main topic of the day. You know what, E? Maybe what the Avs prospects need to get on Bednar's good side is a little bit of Mando. Maybe they stink, all right? They need to smell better. Bednar's tired of smelling their butts, their balls, and their butt cracks. You got to get in with Mando to make sure every aspect of a man's body is smelling fresh and clean. Yes, they mean every aspect. A bunch of great scents, including bourbon leather, Clover Woods, Mount Fuji, and Pro Sports. You can get in with Mando and all of their amazing products today. Jump in with them. You gotta get in. Whatever the moment, whether you're heading out on a date or, you just had a hot day out in the sun working hard. Mando's got you covered. Either way, on that front, they've got whole body deodorant that, as I mentioned, takes care of all of your body parts. It was created by a doctor who saw firsthand how normal BO was being misdiagnosed and mistreated, and is clinically proven to control odor better than a shower with soap alone. So jump in with Mando's starter pack. You can use code DNVR on the starter pack. You get 4 products. You get cream deodorant, you get solid stick deodorant, and 2 products of your choice, like mini body wash or deodorant wipes and many other options. All of that comes with free shipping, and you get 20% off site-wide on Mando with code DNVR. So head to shopmando.com, use the DNVR code. That's shopmando.com for 20% off site-wide and free shipping. Support us with the DNVR code. Let them know we sent you over there. Smell fresher, stay drier, and boost your confidence from head to toe with Mando. Once you're smelling right, make sure you can also get where you need to go with the official vehicle of DNVR in Toyota. You can jump in with whatever vehicle you're looking for, trucks, SUVs, sedans, you name it. Toyota has it all, and they've all got all-wheel or four-wheel drive. 17 different vehicles with that option, like the Epic 4Runner to get you where you're going, whether it's grip on the roads or if you're an off-roader, you can go that direction too. So jump in with Toyota today. Also a bunch of hybrid options if you want to save a little bit on gas on your daily commute. Visit your Front Range Toyota stores at a location near you, including AutoNation Toyota Arapahoe and Centennial, Corwin Toyota in Boulder, Groove Toyota in Littleton, Mountain States Toyota in Denver, Stevenson Toyota in Aurora, and Stevenson Toyota West in Lakewood. Toyota, not just the official vehicle of DNVR, but the official vehicle of the Colorado Avalanche. Let's go places. Second period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast as we jump in, looking forward, looking to this next season, looking at the Avalanche lineup. Who is going to improve? Who do you think has the ability to stay on the level of what they performed last season? And who do you expect a decline out of? Start at the back end. Let's start with the goalies, the lumberyard, Wedgwood and Blackwood. Blackwood is the backup. I think he played really well. I don't really have any higher aspirations or expectations of him. I think he played super solid. Don't see any reason he can't do it again. I'm fine there. Wedgwood in the regular season played great. Through the first couple of games of the playoffs, played well enough. Has that playoff experience, though. So I would say I might expect better from Wedgwood or from Blackwood in the playoffs. Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah, it's fine. The team of Wood, the starter Wood, I think I might expect a little bit more of in the playoffs, but in the regular season, I don't really know how much more you can ask of the guy.
Yeah, the thing with Blackwood is he basically lost them game 5. He gives up a goal on that nonsense 9 seconds in, and they never really fully recover. It's the worst game that he plays in the postseason. And his games 5, 6, and 7, not very good. He wasn't very good in those games. Really good games 1 through 4. You feel great about it. He posts a shutout. Everything's great, right? But games 5, 6, and 7, as they got deeper into it, Ottinger continued to get better. Blackwood didn't. And a major reason. I know we've all kind of pinned it on Ray Bennett and the special teams, but
at the end of the day, score one more goal or give up one less goal. Either way,
yeah,
you win that series.
Yeah, your goalie's got to make a stop or two along the way, and who knows? Game 5, if he doesn't give up that goal 9 seconds in, who knows how that all unfolds?
I think a lot of people forget how crazy Game 6 was. That probably should have been an easy win for the Avs, really, but it ended up being a shootout of a game.
Well, and the game-winning goal is that nonsense from McKinnon in the third period
Yeah,
that like
yeah.
bounced off of the Stars defender and into the net. Like it was chaos, man. Like, and part of that is because Blackwood's level dropped significantly those last 3 games. So yeah, you expect better. You can look at the numbers and you can say, yeah, they were solid. They were still not very good because the last 3 games undid great work. He was really good through the first 4 games. Nowhere near good enough in the last 3. During the regular season, kind of followed the same pattern. Really good to start in with the Avs once he got traded, and then dipped for several weeks. Wedgwood was pretty consistently solid.
Yep.
You know, which why his play evoked memories of Pavel Francouz of like,
just don't give him
can
too
this
many
guy
starts in a row, and he'll be good. Yeah.
yeah, like can he get into a playoff game if you need it and win you a game and really, you know, he's got that kind of moxie to him, that swagger where if you need him to pinch hit a little bit in the postseason, I would trust him to do that. Easily trust him to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I think Wedgwood, I agree. I expect the same. I think he's awesome. And he's like a fine wine, right? He's only getting better with age. It's true. It's the cliche, but it's so true. He knows what he is. As far as Blackwood, I loved the addition last year. I love the trade. I love the signing. I loved his regular season. Here's what I'll say about a goalie. It's a process. Everybody's different. Oh, Patrick Wall won in 86. No, I understand. I know some guys do. I don't know what to tell you. But for most of them, it's a process. He's never been in the playoffs. That was the first time that you're playing with the pressure of winning it all. In order to win it all, you have to win the first series, right? You know what I mean? So it starts there. So I think you're going to see a better Blackwood in the playoffs this year. It'll be better suited to control those emotions, to control your play, and to be better. Because I agree with you. He was good. He wasn't great. You got to be great. You know what I mean? Good to great, right? There's a book about it. There's a little bit of a difference. There's a fine line. And I think McKenzie will be better. I think he can get to the great status. And we all know it's a different team in 2022. You're going to need better goaltending than just average goaltending. You know what I mean? And I think he was good to average to good. You know, we're going to need great goaltending. And I think with the help of his backup, because they get along and it's a perfect tandem, I think he can attain it.
I pretty squarely give him good in the regular season, but go ahead.
Just to kind of emphasize my point here, a .939 save percentage, and he only allowed 7 goals through the first 4 games of the series.
And that's
in the last
outrageously good.
Yeah, he was everything that you wanted him to be, right?
No, he wasn't.
In the last, yeah, exactly. And then the last 3 games of the series, games 5 through 7, when you're trying to close out a series and move on, he had an .806 save percentage.
Yep.
And he allowed 12 goals. 12 goals in 3 games.
Not good enough. Also, you know, why the Avs needed to close out games 2 or 3, but a different conversation.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I mean,
we're not giving all the blame either. We're just talking about the position, you know, right? Hey, if I agree,
yeah.
We're not. No. But 5, 6, 7, AJ's right. He was below average. That's it. We're not saying the other people weren't good. We're just saying the goaltending position. I do believe it's a learning curve. It's a learning lesson, you know. But go ahead, AJ. That's all. We're not blaming him. We're just saying he wasn't very good.
I mean, game 7 of that series, he allows 3 goals, which isn't an egregious amount, but on 18 shots on goal.
Yeah.
You know, and it's tough because like we know the second of those goals, it's a centering pass that slides off Rantanen's stick accidentally and it goes in off of Girard's skate. The whole thing is goofy. You're not putting that. I'm not even putting that on Sam Girard. I'm not putting that on anybody. It's just one of those things that happens sometimes.
You might want to stop on the first one though. I know it's Mikko shooting the puck, but
I want stops in the other 2 because it's game 7. But you know, like bottom line, we look at those numbers. He gave up 3 goals on 18 shots in game 7.
Yep.
Like the team in front of him did a pretty decent job there.
Yeah, I would agree. All right, moving on up to the defense.
Hey, Wolf, we still love Blackwood significantly more than the other one.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Not even
But
close.
that
Not even
I
close.
love him. I love him. I love Blackwood.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm
come
the
on.
right guy. That's not what I'm. He is the right guy. He is the right guy. And again, I blamed everything on the power play, so I did. So I'm not blaming the goaltenders. For me, number one reason was the top guys. I don't care who's coaching. Make a play on the power play. Make a play on the power play, and we would
Yeah.
be talking about maybe a Stanley Cup. So who knows?
The
I mean-
defense. Okay. It's difficult with the defense, right? Because we don't really know the pairings yet, other than the top one. The Avs are going to have to make some
Yeah.
decisions on how they want to shake up the lineup. But let's start with Brent Burns. Burns, 29 points last year in Carolina in the regular season. He's obviously, at the end of his career, essentially, whether he plays another year or not. He's 40. We've seen the age wall kind of hit him. Just look at his Carolina tenure and you can see the trend of things. Is there a world where Brent Burns can step up and have a better year than he did last year in Carolina here in Colorado?
I think easily. I think a reduced role will help him. I think not having to play as many hard defensive minutes because he was paired with Jacob Slavin, and that's one of the best defensive defensemen in the NHL. So Brent Burns is being asked to play defense, which isn't his forte to begin with, against the tip-top guys. And at 40 years old, he's just not that guy. Like it's
Yep.
just not it's not fair to ask him to do that. And you've got a pairing that you like to do that in Devon Taves and Cale Makar. So I think Brent Burns will have a much better all-around year with a reduced role in Colorado. I mean, he's not going to go back to 50 points or whatever. It's just, I think it'll be better than it was in Carolina. I think he'll be a contributor on the second power play unit. I think his presence there will make the coaching staff more willing to use a second power play unit because of the way that he's able to get pucks through. And we did our power play episode last week. We talked through the different personnel between Landeskog, Lehkonen, Nichushkin. You've got some big bodies Brock Nelson, that you can put in front of the net, that can tip pucks, that can fight for rebounds, that can operate in that bumper role in the middle of the ice. Where Brent Burns, they're going to give him a lot of room to operate at a high level. And I almost think Brent Burns in Colorado is being underrated a little bit by people in Colorado because the multi-dimensional effect of his game is going to be really important. And on the PK, if he continues to just be a really rock solid PK guy, he doesn't have to be super physical and fight through a lot of guys. He gets to use his reach. He's 6'5". He's huge. He's got the wingspan of a pterodactyl. Like we're good. He's going to be really solid there. He's going to be I think a rock solid addition to that second pairing, and that's gonna allow him to elevate. I don't know points wise. I don't know. I guess I would say right now, give him 35 would be kind of where I would want to see him at. If he gets more than that, gravy train. If he gets less than that, I'm a little nervous.
I think the secret slide-in spot for Brent Burns, with us being realistic about the Avs using a second power play unit or not, he can take some of that pressure off Devon Taves, right? We all know Cale Makar is the only reasonable guy in the power play and will slide himself off the power play 45 seconds in. Let Brent Burns jump on, play that top unit for the second half with Brent Burns as the D. I think that's maybe the best opportunity that we'll see for him. If they feel like they need to give Devon Taves an extra couple minutes off a night, keep him a little bit fresher too. And that's where Burns excels in the offensive zone. Is you covered it with the tip plays and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just add exactly what you said. It's more, where does he fit? If you're trying to really push him down in the top pairing, I think you're going to miss the boat. Do I think it's awesome that he's 40, still playing, not missing games? Yes. But at some point, you are 40. You are, you know what I mean? Like, it is what it is, right? I mean, it's just a reality. So I think if you slot him right, he can be a great addition if you slot him right. If you're trying to push it for too much, you might miss the boat there.
All right.
Yep.
Then you have Malinsky, who in the second half of last year proved he can be an everyday NHLer. Now he's on the how much of a UFA contract can you earn season. How much opportunity is there for him to really take another step in his NHL game this year?
Yeah, I mean, we've kind of talked about this a lot lately, but the role is the big question mark of where's that ceiling. Kind of gonna how they utilize him will go a long way in determining where he maxes out this year. But I feel comfortable saying, like, I'm buying stock in his game. What I do think is a concern is that he doesn't do anything on either special team unit. He's not. He shouldn't be out there. Just Devon Taves, Sam Girard, Brent Burns, put those guys out there on a power play behind Kale McCarr. You don't need Sam Malinsky to do that, and that's arguably one of his best attributes. So you kind of nerf his skill set right off the top there. But he's not going to do much on a PK. He probably shouldn't be on a PK. Like, it's just not. It's not asking. You're not putting him in a position to succeed. You're not putting your team in a position to succeed. It's just not what he does. So his value is going to have to come purely at 5v5 in that case. He's going to have to play really well to get to 15, 16 minutes of just 5v5 time every night. He's going to have to play really well.
You're not going to find something new in the Cracker Jack box. I mean, he is what he is, right? You just said it. He's almost in his free agency years. So that doesn't mean that you're not a good player. That doesn't mean that you can't get better at your reads. You can't get quicker on your execution, on your thought process. Absolutely. It comes with experience. So I do believe there's growth there, but to say like, oh, this guy's going to become a top pair and he's the first power play unit guy. No, he is what he is as a player. I think what you see is what you get. But if you can, we talking about Lecky yesterday, mastering the simple play. If he can master that, he's smart enough. He can skate. He gets himself out of trouble. Like, if you can master, he's going to play for another 10 years. You know what I mean? So I do believe there's a little growth because of the reps and the experience, but I don't think you're going to see an all-star. You know what I mean? Like, that's not what I'm saying, but he can be a very good NHL.
I think the reality of Malinsky is you saw most of that growth in the second half of last season. If you can keep that up, you're pretty happy with it. We do need to enter our free agency era here and take our another break and get paid here a little bit. So let's make sure we have a good contract here. Put it to you that way. As we are brought to you by Empire Today. You know what? You got to build a good foundation. You got to have a good floor to your team. Malinsky kind of helps with that. And Empire Today can too. You can get them to come out to your home and you can get $350 off your new floors with code DNVR. Empire Today is the flooring experts. They've got professional installers. They will come out. They'll bring swatches. You can see the flooring in your home with your furniture, whether it's hardwood, tile, carpet, you name it. They've got you covered at Empire Today. So make sure you're jumping in with them. You can get that free in-home estimate scheduled today because some things are just better at home. And that DNVR code will give you $350 off your new floors when you use the promo code or head to empiretoday.com/DNVR. You heard that right. Jump in, go to empiretoday.com/DNVR. Terms apply. You can find more info there. And of course, you can always call 1-800-588-2300 Empire. Once you've got your new floors, make sure you're also filling your belly with Raising Cane's chicken fingers. It's coming up. We're just 4 days away from National Chicken Finger Day. Raising Cane's is partnered with Snoop Dogg to celebrate that on Sunday, July 27th. And the celebration is one you're going to want to go to Raising Cane's for because everyone gets one extra free chicken finger with the purchase of a box combo all day long on the 27th. So be sure to set your reminders and get ready for the best holiday celebration out there. Let's go. One more thing to dump into their sauce, to be honest. You could dump batteries into their sauce and I'd probably still eat them. That's how good the sauce is. But, chicken fingers are probably better for you than batteries. So use the chicken fingers. Check out RaisingCanes.com to learn more and see you at Cane's Sunday, July 27th. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers, one love. Third period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast, moving up the decor. We've had the conversation about the Gerard Manson pairing quite a bit this offseason. I'm less interested in that combination and more interested of where you think these guys are at individually. Josh Manson, for the most part, when he's on the ice, he's good for the Avs. The only improvement you can really hope for from him is health, right? In his 3.5 years in Colorado, he has had one season where he's hit the 70 game mark. So if Josh Manson can stay healthy, that's the easiest improvement you can make for these two.
Yeah. P.S. Don't eat batteries. But yeah, Josh Manson, like, you would love to say, take fewer penalties, less silly turnovers in your own zone. But like,
you're not going to change those things about him at this point.
Exactly, man. Like, guys just are who they are. You gotta live with some of this stuff, and with Manson, that's part of the package there. The penalties, especially because he's going to war with guys on every single shift in his own zone. That's just how it's going to be. That's who he is, and I'm good with that. The only downside, as you mentioned, the availability is a problem, but an underrated offensive player in Colorado, and defensively a vital part of their defense. That when we talked about, oh, he's the prime guy to move, replacing him was always the big problem. So instead of replacing him, they extended him and just said, we're not going to try to replace him. We're just going to let him do his thing. So let him do his thing.
No, I agree. And again, I agree with A-Wolf here. You know what I mean? Like, if you didn't want to extend Lindgren, then you had to extend Manch. That's how I look at it. Experience plays a big factor, especially on the back end. So, but yeah, Josh, here's what I'll say. AJ's right. The only thing is, if you're not physical, you never run into anyone, you never do it, then you won't take penalties. You know what I mean? Because you just play soft, right? You know what I mean? So, yeah, exactly. So you don't, he's using his reach. You know what I mean? Where Josh is the manimal, right? You know, he's using his body. You know what I mean? And that's a different. Trust me, you're a winger on the opposition team. You know, on the opposite team, and you're taking a face off. You're looking. You're always looking up like this. Who am I playing against this shift here? You know, and I'm not bashing Brent Burns, but I'm saying, oh, Brent Burns, okay, oh, he's going to reach at me with his reach, you know what I mean? Oh, I got that dude Manson. I better be careful. I'm going to get absolutely killed between the blue lines if I don't have my head up, you know what I mean? And so that's what he brings. It's again, I call it the whiskey drinker, right? Again, for people, I'm not saying I don't know if he does or not. I'm saying, but Kale's a wine drinker. Taze is a wine drinker. This guy's the whiskey drinker. He's just different. And you can't have 6 like that, you know what I mean? But you certainly need one. And I think they have a good one, and that's why they kept him. I do believe he will be. If he can stay healthy, he'll be better than he's been, you know what I mean, the last 2 years. Because of durability, availabilities.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, I agree. I just don't know if you can realistically expect him to stay healthy. We'll see. The other side of it, Sam Girard. Obviously, the conversation around Sam Girard continues to be you're on one of two sides in the Colorado Avalanche fan base, which I don't really want to get into today. But I more want to talk about the fact that when you look at Sam Girard's production, it feels like there should be more there. And I know part of that is he doesn't get any power play one time, and that's going to reduce his numbers. But it still feels like if he could just get to the 30-point barrier, you would feel a little bit better about that offensive ability. Can he do it? Can he do it without the power play time?
Yeah. I mean, he's done it a couple of times in his career, so we know that he can do it. I also think when you're talking about like just point production, because if you can get the same basic profile of Sam Girard, you're fine with it. He's going to get worked in front of the net. He's going to lose some board battles. He's going to drive a lot of play, and he's going to get out of the zone with the puck a lot. Like, you're comfortable with those pros and cons with Sam Girard. That's who he is. What he does is a good fit for the Avalanche, right? One thing that I think is really underrated when we talk about the production is the Landeskog and Nichushkin absences consistent absences over the last couple of years,
Net front
lack of
bodies.
power
yeah.
play time. Who's he playing with?
Yeah, I'd have to look up his most common forwards that he's getting played with, to be honest.
I can tell you who they are. It's a strange list. Because the top
Pop
two
off,
are
yeah.
It's Mikko Rantanen and Nathan McKinnon.
Okay.
Logan
sure.
O'Connor. Arturi Lehkonen, Val Nichushkin. But you look at the time with and time away, he's playing a quarter of his time over the years with those guys. So and this is over 3 years, by the way. So it's not just 1 year, guy missed a bunch of games kind of thing. Over 3 seasons. So he's playing with some of Colorado's best that they have to offer, but he's also spending a ton of time. He's spent hundreds of minutes over the last couple of years with Ross Colton, Casey Middlestat, Andrew Cogliano, JT Compher, Yoel Kiviranta, like hundreds of minutes with these guys. And when you're talking about production, it's not going to be the same. If he had a ton of production.
Here we thought the Avs second line needs a center, but it turns out it was Sam Girard that actually needs a center.
Well, if a guy's not playing on the power play, right? Like, where's his production going to come from? You know, like
5-on-5.
Like, who's he playing with? Because he's got something like 2,500 5v5 minutes over the last 3 years, and not even half of those are with Rantanen and McKinnon, who are his most common forwards that he's played with.
Yeah.
So, like, he's just not spending a lot of the time with them, whereas, like, Makar, Taves especially. Devon Taves is a really good player, and he's a smart player, but you want to try and tell me that that guy is such a dynamite offensive player that he's not benefiting enormously from being paired almost exclusively with Cale Makar and being on the ice with Rantanen and McKinnon for like 80% of his ice time over the last handful of years? Like, that's where that guy's production is coming from.
Yep.
It's not power play points.
Well, and you take a player the style of Sam Girard and you do a little bit of roster math, a goal-scoring center like Brock Nelson starts to make a lot of sense to play with a guy like that.
Yeah. Sam Girard's not going to shoot pucks. I mean, he's going to try, but he's not a dangerous shooter. He's going to score you 3 to 5 goals per year, and you're just hoping that it doesn't get blocked. You're hoping for a tip. You're hoping for it to be one of those bounce off the backboards kinds of plays. Like, he's not shooting to score. He's shooting for other things. You get all these big boys that they've now accumulated in front of the net, gives him a better shot at it. And I think that however they want to do it, I would probably go Girard Burns. I mean,
sure, if we're going to see some combos to start the year, I'll bet you that much.
Right.
Yeah.
Like Girard feeding Burns up high and then Burns shooting through traffic because he can actually get pucks through traffic for tips and rebounds. You could see him add a couple of secondary assists that way. Like, it's not hard to envision that. But that is one of those, like, the point production for Girard has always been lagging a little bit behind for a guy with a reputation as an offensive defenseman, which is why his profile has always been a little odd.
Yep.
I do believe he's going to have a good year. I think 2 years ago he had that weird year for all the reasons. I think last year was kind of a get back to it year. He's a newly father. I can talk about it like I'm one as well, you know, and it puts things in perspective. And when you're a player, you have a kid. It just brings a little bit of sense of calmness, a little bit to your play, to your ability to go to the rink and just come home and take the rink away from your daily life. You know what I mean? And sometimes it's good to leave hockey at the rink. You know what I mean? And I think that's going to benefit him. And I'm looking forward to. I mean, if this is a guy that's going to have a better year, not that he had a bad year. He's my guy. I'm not saying he had a bad year. I'm not saying that. You guys know how much I love him. And I think he's valuable. And I know the 30-some teams think he's valuable too. So I do believe he's going to have an outstanding season. That's just my gut. That's my guy to pick. That who's going to have a better spike in their play. That's the guy for me.
All right. We can be quick with the top pairing. Makar, second 90-point season in a row, wins the second Norris. He repeats the regular season slam dunk. You take that all day. You're not going to ask for more than that, even if we believe he might be capable of 100 points. The obvious improvement the Avs need from Makar is he has to be better in the playoffs. I don't think there's really anything else to say there. Taves, marginally more interesting. Again, I don't think you're asking for a ton more than him. The one thing that sticks out anecdotally to me with Taves, I wish he was a little bit better of a shooter. Over the last 2 years, I can think of like 10 instances of him charging the back door, net being open, and he just can't get his stick effectively on it enough. He could legitimately be like a 15-goal defenseman if he could finish just a bit better.
Then he'd
Still
make
pretty good.
Yeah, I super nitpick. I'm not saying Taves isn't awesome. I'm just saying it's one thing that I noticed.
I was teasing you. I'm like, did he make 11 a year? You know, but yeah, I agree. All I'm going to say in those two is, boy, oh boy, are we lucky to have those two as a top pair. And yeah, I mean, it's a lot. Again, you want production in the playoffs. When I say production, is wins. And Kale's won a Conn Smythe. We all know you can do it. At the end of the day, it wasn't his best playoff. He had an off playoff. Joe said it. Yeah. It happened. It happened. It's happened to Joe before, and Joe's one of the most clutch players in the history of the National Hockey League. So it happens. It was an anomaly, or whatever you want to call that. AJ's the writer, but you can ask him for that word. But yeah, I don't have much to say about those two. You know,
is that just this Avalanche era storyline? Your best player has to have a bad playoff so you can win the cup the next year. Is that how it works?
Perfect. Yahtzee.
I agree.
Forward core, we can kind of just lump the bottom six together because, again, there's a lot of holes in the Avs' bottom end of their lineup, so it's hard to really say who's going to be playing with who. But when you take a look at specifically Jack Drury and Ross Colton, LOC obviously is going to start the season injured, and I think we all know what we get out of LOC every single night in the NHL, so he is what he is. How much upward mobility is there for a Jack Drury who might get to start at 3C depending on how this offseason shakes out? How much mobility is there for Ross Colton, who at times looked great last year and at times struggled offensively?
I think Drury needs to be more of the 27-point guy that he was 2 seasons ago than the 18-point guy he was last year. Just that little bump if he's going to be playing important minutes for them. I know the coaching staff, the organization really believes there's more offense in his game. He's got to show it. It sounds like they're keen on giving him the opportunity to show it. Then if that's the case, you got to do it, man. He needs to be pushing 30 points if he's going to be getting that kind of ice time consistently. Ross Colton's got to be better. Ross Colton last year had one of those really weird years where the guy was blistering hot to start the year, broke his foot, came back, and was ice cold for like 2 months, and then piled up a bunch of assists at the end of the year that in games that didn't matter that much.
It was like
to make it look a little balanced.
16-game pointless streak. It was crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. And like you want to talk about who did he play with, especially when you're playing as a wing, you're going to be way more dependent on your center, like who are the guys around you?
Jason Polin on the third line, and you're like, oh boy.
Yeah. I don't have it in front of me, but if I looked up his most common line mates last year, I bet it would be a wild ride for Ross Colton. Yeah. And so you can understand, like, you're giving him a little bit of leeway. He had 40 points 2 years ago as getting third line minutes for the Avs. That's who he needs to be. They're paying him $4 million. They're not paying him for 25 points. They're not paying him because he's an ace defensive player. They're paying him because he has the ability to produce in the 40-point range. He needs to get close. Frankly, he needs to be over, but I understand that there are real question marks about personnel around him at this point. So we don't really know. Like, if it's Jack Drury and Yoel Kiviranta, I'm not going to be sitting here saying he needs 40
Get
points.
To 40,
buddy.
I'm going to be
it's more going to be like you break 30 and it'll feel good. Get close to 35 and I'll be happy.
Yeah.
My take on this to add, because I think Ross, you're right. I mean, went from the first line to the third, whatever. He was everywhere, and he got hurt, and so put away that season. But I do believe, and you hear me say it all the time. We're sitting there watching games. I do believe if you're getting ice time, you got to produce. So for me, the Cat last year, it's not unrealistic. You know what I mean? Like, the other teams worry so much about the McKinnon line and the Makar and the matchup. Like, you're playing against lesser players around the league, and that's why Ross getting 40 points, awesome. I expect Jack, if he's on the third line, to get more points. You're getting ice time. You got to show what you can do. You got to challenge yourself to help out. And too many times, I think Azura talked about this 2 seconds ago. It was too much inconsistencies from those guys. You know what I mean? Like from Ross to the cat, meow, to all that kind of stuff. They go 10, 12 games without anything. For me, that's absurd when you're playing. Now, if you're on the
Yeah.
fourth line, getting Curtis McDermott minutes, you know what I mean? Like, I get it. It's hard. But when you're getting minutes and you're going out there, and on the back end you have Sam Girard or whatever it is, like, you're not playing with a rockhead on D. You know what I mean? You're playing with some good players. The Avalanche are good players. And I think that's where they got to be better. And even Jack, you know what I mean? Where if he's going to be in that position, playing good ain't good enough. You got to produce at some point. I didn't say you got to produce 75 points. But I think the 30 to 40 points on the third line, if you're playing, you got to attain that. And you got to challenge yourself there. I think you got to challenge yourself.
If you go 12 games without a point, that's a month. You just went a month in between points. That's unacceptable. I don't care who your line mates are, as you're saying. Like, that's not okay, man. Not when you're making $4 million. If you're Logan O'Connor, yeah, you're going to go through some hot and cold. You're Parker Kelly, yeah. Like, that stuff is going to have you. It would be great if you could chip in a little bit more often. But, like, I pulled it up because I just couldn't handle not knowing. Ross Colton, who did he play with last year? F5v5, Casey Middlestat, Mikko Rantanen, Nathan McKinnon, Jack Drury, Yoel Kiviranta, Miles Wood, Charlie Coyle are the guys he got over 100 minutes with.
All over the shop, basically.
Yeah, that's a wide array of guys. The highest was Middlestat at 246, and the other guys were all at least over 100. So that's a big distribution. His line mates were changing every 3-5 games, like just a constant churn of guys. I mean, he's got minutes with Jimmy Vesey and Parker Kelly, Juuso Parssinen, Jonathan Durant. Like, the guy was all over their lineup last year. Had the least amount of consistency. So I'm willing to give him the 1 year pass of last year was kind of a mess. Fine.
Yep.
He's got to be much more like the guy from 2 years ago than the guy from last year. Otherwise, I don't think he'll be here.
Just have him play every shift against Declan Chisholm.
Can we sign Jimmy? I'll feel better.
Same.
Yeah, he can be their 13th forward. That's fine.
Or right now, he's better than those last three forwards. So.
You're not wrong. Moving into the top six, two easy ones here. One, Gabe Landeskog. Him just playing games is an improvement from last year, so easy W there. Two, Arturi Lehkonen, probably the most steady guy in the Avalanche's top six. Probably due for a regression in his shooting percentage next year. But you look at his time in Colorado, he's actually like a 15% shooter since he's joined the Avs. So pucks go in for that guy here, whatever it is. His biggest thing is stay healthy. He's another guy who has not really had a fully healthy season in Colorado. So if he could play 80 games, I think you'd get a 50 to 60 point guy out of him pretty easily.
I agree.
Okay.
I'm not arguing.
Yeah. I mean, 27 goals isn't going to happen again. But
yeah, but 20 probably will.
You look at the shooting percentage. He's not beating goalies cleanly with great shots. It's a lot of empty nets. It's rebounds. It's tips. It's like he's not that guy. Yeah, like
he's a guy who should do a lot with Brent Burns.
Yeah, Brent Burns and the good stick Lecky are. I like this combo.
Yep. So the other four then, Brock Nelson. It's weird for me. Obviously, you need him to score goals, which he didn't do in the playoffs. But his regular season play with the Avalanche was pretty reasonably, I think, what you can expect out of him.
Yeah,
slow start.
And we talked about him. Like, for me, it's being there from training camp and from the get-go. You know, I think you're going to see his true colors. You know what I mean, of what he really is. Not that he was bad, not at all, because I think they had to re-sign him, and they did, which was the main thing they had to do this summer, correct? So,
Yeah.
we'll go from there. You know what I mean?
His Colorado numbers extrapolated across 82 games would have been 27 goals and 59 points. Give me that.
That's
Just
perfect for a 2C. Yeah,
yeah, I'm good. You give me that, and we're home. That's a 2C. I'm good with it. You give me more than that, you give me 35 goals, and I'll say something inappropriate on a pod about you.
So that leaves us with 3 players left in McKinnon, Necas, and Nichushkin. I am simply just not going to ask for more out of Nathan McKinnon. He keeps giving you 110 plus point seasons. You take that all day, every day.
Just can't.
Necas and Nichushkin are interesting conversations, though. Necas just had the best year of his career, at least production-wise. He's in Colorado for the full season now. It's a contract year. Is there another bump? Is there another level to Necas's game, or are we shooting for a point-per-game player this year?
Yeah, he wants to get paid. He needs to be a point-per-game guy, especially if he's playing predominantly with McKinnon on a top power play unit. You've got roughly 80 million reasons to have the season of your life there, big fella.
Yeah, I mean, I love him. You guys know that. I think he's a great player. Now you got to do it, A, when it counts, and B, you want to get paid. Well, it comes with that territory. He better produce. You better produce, or that's just, or why do you want that money? So, yeah.
Look, if he wants that 8th year, he's got to sign. I'm just saying.
He's got till July 1st.
Yep, exactly. And then Nichushkin, which yet another guy that falls into the category of, can you have a healthy season for the Colorado Avalanche? Nichushkin's conversation there, obviously a lot more complicated than just injury, but nonetheless, his biggest drawback, when he's on the ice, he's been very, very good in Colorado, and the Avalanche have arguably been the best version of themselves when Nichushkin is on the ice for them.
Without looking, any guesses as to what his most games played in a season in Colorado is?
I already have that pulled up, so I'm disqualified.
Cheater. Eric, any guesses as to the highest number of games played that Nichushkin has had as an Av?
Boy, did he ever reach 70?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so. Yeah, like I said, the big rig. Thank God he's not a physical guy, because he would be down to the 40s. But you know what I mean? I don't know. What is it? 62? I don't think
65.
Yeah, close enough.
65. His second is 62. Those are the only times he's broken 60 in Colorado. Now, to his credit, some of the shortened seasons removed that as a possibility to play 80, even 70, but has broken 60 twice. That's not all suspension.
Yeah, he was not suspended last season, and he only played 43 games. Well, he was suspended for the start of it, but he could have played 65 games last year, and he played 43. Yeah, he's a lock to miss 20 games with injury.
Yep.
And the player is there in Colorado. He's been extremely good. Even last year, he had 34 points in his 43 games. He's excellent on the ice, even if he's not perfect, even if you saw some degradation of his defensive ability last year. If he's healthy and in the game, he's a key piece for the Colorado Avalanche. So
he has 3 20-goal seasons in the last 4 years. Maximum number, the highest number of games played is 62 in the last 4 years. 3 20-goal years.
Pushing a 40-goal pace last year.
Right. When he's in the lineup, wildly productive player. So it's not unlike with Josh Manson. Your big improvement here, be in the lineup.
We are headed into overtime, by the way. If you're watching on television, jump on over online to the DNVR.com, where the conversation will continue here. So we've looked at it individually. We're not going to go too long into OT here, but just to wrap things up, it feels like there is, on the whole, room for improvement for the Colorado Avalanche. We expect a significant portion of this lineup to at least be capable of playing better if they can live up to it. Yes?
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
Okay.
I do believe. And it's playoffs. I mean, it's not even about playing well. It's about executing and getting results. There's no, what do you call that? Ribbon prizes or whatever you want to call that, right? It's, you got to produce.
Participation trophy.
Participation trophy, yeah. You got to produce and you got to execute. So,
well, and the ace in the hole that the Avs have on this is what we talked about with Ross Colton. It's easy to forget that in the regular season, the Avs dressed 49 different players last year. There was zero stability to that lineup, especially beyond the top line. There was zero stability. So everyone was playing with everyone. It was hard for players to get comfortable with their line mates. There was a bunch of chaos going on in that lineup. And I'm not saying the Avs are going to be perfectly healthy this year. They're not. That's unrealistic to expect. But just a little bit more stability in your top nine can go a real long way for a team gelling, clicking, and putting it all together.
Yeah. I mean, the 49, like, that there are going to be injuries. It's just an inevitability. That's the sport. But 49 players?
I know, it's absurd.
It's shocking. Like, it would be a fun game to. Can you name every defenseman that played for the Avs last year?
Probably not.
I'm gonna miss one for sure.
There are some real, like 8 of them are really easy. Maybe like 10 of them I think are really easy.
I mean, Makar Taves, Gerard Manson, Malinsky, Eric Johnson, Ryan Lindgren, Keaton Middleton. I don't think McDonald never got called up to play D, did he? I don't think so.
No.
Jack Ashan played at least one game. There's a couple more AHL guys that I'm forgetting.
Yeah, you're missing. I believe I didn't hear you say Calvin DeHaan.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't say DeHaan, then Shillington too, but
oh my god,
Oliver
I was
Shillington.
trying to think of the AHL guys. Yeah, Ludwig, good call, Wolf.
John Ludwig and Wyatt Amott. That's a lot of guys.
It's a whole second decor.
Yeah, I mean, if you get into the... Okay, just doing the math here, that's 49 of them. You played 12 defensemen. So you played 37 forwards?
Nah, 7 goalies, so it would be 30 forwards.
You're right. Goalies exist. 30 forwards is still an obscene number. Frankly, so is 7 goalies.
Yep. It might only be 6.
It's 6 that got into game 7 because
Mandolisi.
Yeah. Yes, Mandolisi was a backup on the bench.
Who's the 6th one?
What, the goalie? You're probably forgetting Capo Kakinen.
Oh, that's what I was...
10-second waiver claim, yeah. There you go. Wow. So, worth remembering that the lineup last year was outrageous, and that won't happen again, barring insanity.
And if it does, they're in deep trouble, because even getting that quality of player that they had last year is going to be a real challenge. Because right now they don't have the goods for that right now. They just don't.
If they're that hurt, the waiver wire better be real deep next year.
Yeah. Defensively, I think they might be able to get away with it with some guys that are intriguing for you. Obviously, Jacob McDonald is there. I really liked what we saw out of Wyatt Amott. I thought that I would like to see more of him, frankly. I don't know how they feel about Ronnie Eddard. I really don't.
Yeah, me neither.
But Sean Barrett.
I mean, yeah, Barents. They could be okay on the forward side, assuming they fill out their roster through August and September. Yeah, if you get a step from an Ivan, you get a step from a Prishchapov, you might be able to absorb it a little bit. But
there's got to be something. Right now, they've only got 6 NHL contracts in the AHL, so there's got to be a plan of some kind, somewhat. Like this might be a training camp where we have 7 PTOs to sift through.
Yeah, a lot of two-way deals coming out in September.
Yeah.
All right. I think we're good for the day, so we'll wrap it up there. We appreciate all y'all hanging out with us. As always, become a diehard. Go read all of AJ's amazing pieces. Get access to all of our awesome content. That's all we got, though. We'll be back tomorrow. We appreciate y'all, and we will see you guys, I guess, on the next one.
We all silly like the mayor.